Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Sandy. I have my llama mug back with me today. I haven't used it in a while. You know, when you have so many mugs, it's hard to like give everyone a fair chance. When I was helping my daughter move the other day, she had four mugs that I unwrapped and put on the shelf for her. And she said, "These are my four favorite mugs." So, coming from a mug aficionado, what do you think? And her mug choices were varied, one sophisticated, one kinda airy-fairy, one fun. They were all different, and she doesn't have a style that like, I like double-sided. I like light but large. I don't like great big handles. This is not my ideal mug. I just happen to love this llama. Mm. Lauren, good morning. Good morning. Lauren was telling me that she also broke her mother out of the home once, at least once. I broke Fritzi out of the home yesterday. I wrote about it on my Facebook page. In case you follow me, you could check it out. I decided it was a beautiful day, and I had taken Beily for a haircut and a bath, which I'll talk about in a minute. Anyway, I decided how fun would it be if Beily went with me and we were outside and we took my mother, my 98-year-old sweet mother, for a walk. And Beily can be outside, and it was in the low 90s, so I figured it would be okay to leave Beily in the car for a few minutes while I got Fritzy and like that, and then we'd go for a little walk, and that'd be the end of it. But it was so nice out, and I called first to make sure Fritzy was, like, awake and up for it. They said, "Yeah, she's in a really good mood today." And I said, "You know what? Maybe we'll go for a ride." And then I got really brave. I had somebody help me get Fritzy into my car, but then I just said, "I can do this." So I took Fritzy and her wheelchair and Beily. It was a little bit of a zoo, I admit. But I have XM radio, and Frank Sinatra and 40s music blared. We sang along, and when she wasn't singing, she would hold my hand. I know you're supposed to have two hands on the wheel, but Fritzy is so adorable. She would hold my hand and she would be going like this with my hand to the music. So I asked her, did she want to drive around? Did she want me to find someone to go visit? Or should we go get an ice cream? So she voted for a chocolate ice cream cone, and it being National Chocolate Day, we went straight to Rite Aid because they still have Thrifty's ice cream and we both love it. So I got her a little cup of ice cream. We went to the library. Not so she could go in. She had to wait outside, in the car, because I had to go drop off one of my books on tape things and get a new one. And I asked her, would it be all right if I left her in the car for about 5 minutes while I did that? But I left the windows not open all the way, but like this much. True story. I am standing at the desk in the library, not at the door, inside the library, and I look down and Beily is at my feet. Yes, folks, Beily jumped out a window that was open this much. That's all. Came across the parking lot, and it's got the kind of doors that when you step in a certain part, the doors open. Apparently, Beily watched where I went, stepped through the doors, found me immediately, and I looked down and Beily's at my feet. And it was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll take the dog back out to the car. I'll be right back. And I took Beily back to the car. I mean, but how can you get mad at a dog who loves you so much that they follow you wherever you go? I know. Mm. Okay, good morning to Stephen. Oh, okay, good. We're gonna have some pumpkin photos. I put a post up on What Do I Say, What Do I Do about pumpkins, and I said, "Come on, you guys have cute pumpkin photos? Post them here. Let everybody enjoy them." So we've got a couple good ones so far, and there's one where Lisa doesn't carve pumpkins, she paints them so they last longer and they're beautiful. And Tracy wants me to do word art on a pumpkin. I don't know if I showed you the pumpkins I did. I guess it was probably 2 years ago because of COVID, we didn't get together, but a girlfriend, Diana, and I, who we were friends in junior high, Diana came to visit, and we had little tiny pumpkins about this big, and we decorated little tiny pumpkins. Oh, they were gorgeous. I mean, we didn't cut them at all. We just decorated them. We painted them. We glued things on them. They were beautiful. I used them as decorations all the way through the end of the year. Then they got a little mushy, if you know what I mean. But it was fun. Yeah. Mm. Anyway, Fritzi and I drove around eating ice cream, singing songs. She had a wonderful time. By the time I brought her back, she said she was tired and she wanted to go for a nap. But by the time I put her back in her wheelchair, she was raring to go again. So Beily and Fritzi and I went for a stroll all around the home, which is a big path. I got a little sweaty and warm. It was hot outside, but she was loving the heat. She loves being warm. And then I just rolled her over to the door and rang the bell, and somebody came and kissed her goodbye. Well, they didn't kiss her goodbye. I kissed her goodbye. And she petted Beily goodbye. Beily was so good with her. She just likes to touch him, and he doesn't seem to mind. Although sometimes when he climbs on her, just the weight of his little paws pushing into her, that's a little much. Anyway, we had a great day. Beily, on the other hand, I had an 11 a.m. appointment for him to get a bath, a haircut, which he desperately needed. He hasn't had one in a year. His nails trimmed, and whatever else they do when they do a full grooming. So I took Beily to his regular place for full grooming. He's never had one before because he would never hold still for it or behave. This time, I brought him inside. He didn't bark at the other dogs. He didn't bark at any of the people. He was so well behaved. I was so excited. I thought, this time, yes. Anyway, I handed him to the very pregnant woman in charge, assuming she was not only good with him, but she would be the one who would be taking care of him. No. Turns out that the groomer who does the trimming and the nails is a guy. Beily does not, as a rule, does not like men. He likes women. Yeah. Anyway, I got a call about an hour and a half later saying, yeah, you can come pick Beily up. And by the way, we couldn't do this and we couldn't do that. And he didn't cooperate with this. And by the way, here's how much it's going to be. And I said, whoa, that's a lot of money. Why is it so much more this time? And she was quiet. And I said, that's the fee for a dog who doesn't behave well, isn't it? And she said, yes, I'm so sorry, but he didn't cooperate. Yeah, my dog didn't behave, so I got fined. Come on, seriously, they should have fined the dog. Oh, well, that's the way it goes, right? Anyway, Beily, where are you? Oh, Baily's right here on the floor. He's so cute. He's so cute. He's a lot of his long hair is gone, but he still looks adorable to me. All right. Oh, this is so cool, you guys. I couldn't wait to talk to you about this, and then I almost forgot. I don't even know how I got on this. Oh, because in 2003, on this day, I guess the first paper was officially presented about a brain itch or an earworm. You know what I'm talking about, right? When you get a song in your head and it keeps going over and over and over and over in your head. Oh, I so wanted Indy to be here for this because as a psychologist, he probably knows stuff about this that I'm going to not know. But I'll tell you what I learned, okay? There's this thing that's actually called a brain itch. It's a cognitive itch. More than or up to 98% of the general population have this, and most people don't even really acknowledge it. But if you have OCD, this is a problem because that repeating of the same song over and over in your head, I guess, can make you like really upset. So anyway, it's also called SSS, which is stuck song syndrome. So when I give you a song, like I think It's a Small World is the one that drives most people the craziest. I'm going to do it to you. You ready? It's a small world after all. I'm sorry. I had to. It happens with repetitive songs that just grab inside and then like get on this tape and keep playing over and over. The process, the mental process, is known as ironic process theory. Ironic process theory. It's a cognitive itch inside your brain. Songs like YMCA or Who Let the Dogs Out? Who? Yeah, I gave you some itches. Let me know how that goes for you. Yeah. Yeah. So when it becomes a problem, by the way, is when you don't realize that it's in your head and you think someone is doing it to you. And I guess if you go online, there are sites that'll tell you how to get rid of them. Like start singing along with the song out loud, and a lot of times that'll help you to get rid of the song. Just go for it. Like lean into it, like a Chinese birthday puzzle, one of those finger puzzle things. Rocky Mountain High, Rhinestone Cowboy. Yeah, there are a lot of them. All You Need Is Love. There are a million different songs that stick in your head. And yes, Stephen, this is my llama mug. This is my favorite mug of all my mugs. Not because I love the mug, but because I love the face on that llama. I've painted it like 4 or 5 times myself. Well, I've done it in like pastel felt pens because I love this mug. And yes, I guess that makes me a llama mama. My daughter went to school for a while in Sonoma, California, up north, and they had a place there that was a llama ranch or llama farm. And there was a huge sign. It was in Petaluma. And there was a huge sign along the road that said, "Come pet a llama in Petaluma." Pet a llama in Petaluma. And my daughter, because they didn't have phones, where you could take pictures back then, she snapped a bunch of pictures of her on the phone with me and sent them to me by snail mail. Yeah, because she went there for me so she could pet a llama in Petaluma and make me feel like I was there. Thank you for noticing my mug. I love my mug. Today is Black Tuesday. Well, it's not Tuesday, but it's the date of Black Tuesday in 1929 when the market just went ba-bam. No, I'm sorry. Did I do that already again? It went crash is what it did. And that kind of signified the end of the Roaring 20s and the beginning of the Great Depression. Yeah. So yesterday was Frankenstein Day, but today is Frankenstein Friday. What are you going to be for Halloween? Are you going to have a costume? We haven't even talked about that, but we did buy pumpkins, and Indy started carving, and he did this really cool thing where he, instead of cutting off the top of his pumpkin, I'll show it to you when it's done, but instead of cutting off the top of his pumpkin, he made a big hole in the back of his pumpkin and put a light, not a candle, a LED kind of flashing colored light inside, and then put the cap back on from the back. It's really cool. I think I might want to do that. We have 3 pumpkins, and I already started my scary pumpkin, and I can't do it with my scary pumpkin, but I can do it with the little pumpkin if there's room for that big light inside. We'll see. All You Need Is Love is stuck in Lauren's head. All you need is love. Na, 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 na. All you need is love, love. Anyway, Frankenstein Friday is always the last Friday in October. So that would be today. So today you will talk like Frankenstein. Yes, it's Hermit Day. You can't talk like Frankenstein as a hermit because then you'll be talking to yourself. So don't even celebrate that. No. Happy birthday to Fanny Bryce in heaven. She's not around anymore. Fanny Bryce was the person that the movie Funny Girl was written about, kind of her life. I would have loved to have known Fanny Bryce. And I thought Barbara Streisand was the best Fanny Bryce almost a better Fanny Bryce than Fanny Bryce. Yeah, because Fanny Bryce was real and Barbara Streisand was just kind of doing her thing, and the music was great. The story was good. Oh, and what's his name was in it? My heartthrob. Omar Sharif. Okay, come on, seriously. That guy's hot. Omar Sharif, yeah. This is so frustrating. I cannot read these messages without glasses. What does it say? Oh, we're getting more You guys have so many songs in your heads. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. Your day is going to be filled with music. You're welcome. Yeah. Just pick the worm you like and let it go. That's all. It'll keep you in that mood all day long. Oh. Little bits of information were sent by computer from UCLA to Stanford back in 1969. And that was the beginning of the internet. I think I may have shared this story with you before, but if you missed it, it was hilarious. I think now it's hilarious. At the time, I didn't get it. I used to, for a while, I would get these notifications like frequently that there was a study being done on blah, 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 and they needed an opinion. So would I like to be in a market survey and they'd pay me $50 or they'd pay me, whatever. And I would go and I would answer questions and give opinions and stuff like that. Cause I mean, come on, who doesn't like to be asked their opinion, right? And get paid for it. So I did all these studies. And there was this one where they had about 24 of us, maybe less. No, it must have been less. Must have been more like 12 in this room with these square boxes and typewriters. That's what it looked like to me. Square, like little TV screens and typewriters. And we spent an hour doing what they told us to do. And they were talking about this new thing that was coming called the World Wide Web. And what did we think about this at the end of doing this hour of whatever they told us to do that had to do with these computers that we knew nothing about? And some people thought it was really cool, really great. And I said, no, this is never going to work. Nobody's ever going to understand it. It's too confusing. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I could have been a contender. I could have invested and been a bazillionaire, but no, I said it would never work. Oh, well. Richard Dreyfus's birthday. Richard Dreyfus, good actor, right? Jaws, Goodbye Girl. He was in American Graffiti. He was the older brother in American Graffiti. I seem to run into him in the most bizarre places. Now, I did have a close encounter of the first kind with him. I did. If you remember, I was a guest at the dress rehearsal of the Academy Awards years ago. Valerie Bertinelli was on my left. Richard Dreyfus was on my right. And we sat through the Academy Awards together and chatted like we were old friends. He was very nice. And then 2 years ago, before COVID, so it must be 2 years ago, my pal Sherry said to me, I know what I want to do for my birthday. It's kind of expensive, but I really would like you to do it with me. And I said, I don't care how expensive it is. I don't care what it is. I'll do it with you. So we drove up to LA for this famous Egyptologist to take us to do like this presentation and have an event and then show us at the museum we got to see all the King Tut exhibit, and it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. And of course, who walks in but Richard Dreyfus? Yeah, it was fun. That was really cool. I like to see him. I don't know why, but it brings back my college days, and I can't even tell you why that is. Maybe because of American Graffiti? I don't know. What else? What else? There was a new dance craze in 1923 that was first introduced on this day. But remember, 6 years later, it was the end of the Roaring Twenties. But from 23 to 29, Charleston, Charleston, dun 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 dun. I can Charleston. Can you Charleston? It was the funnest dance to do. So the flappers were these girls who like shaved their hair down to almost nothing and then did like little spit curls on the side, and they were still girly, but it was kind of, I think, a way of saying, I am woman, hear me roar. And a long time before we women started roaring as a team, you know what I mean? Here's to the flappers. They were kind of, oh yeah, this is my life. I'm living it my way, babe. Flappers, I think flappers were pretty cool. Yeah. And they all knew how to Charleston, obviously, because that's who did it. Charleston, Charleston, dun, 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 dun. 2015, on this day, the Chinese government said, we are ending the one child policy. You know that, right? That for years you were only allowed to have one child in China. And they raised it to two. And I believe they still have the two-child policy. I did not know about it, but that's what I did. I had two. First, I had a girl. Then 18 months later, I had a boy. And then I didn't have any more, because if you've already had a boy and a girl, what's going to happen? You're going to have a monkey next? I didn't want to take a chance. I had one of each. They were both healthy, left it at that. And I'm not sorry about my decision. I love my two kids, and I don't know what I'd do with more. How do you visit when you have a ton of kids? How do you visit all of them? How do you drive them all crazy? It's too hard. It's so easy to drive two kids crazy. Sea monkeys in space. John Glenn took sea monkeys up in space to see what would happen to them. That was in 1998. And by the way, those particular sea monkeys came back down, and I don't know, 8 weeks later or something, they made more sea monkeys and they were all perfectly normal. So apparently sea monkeys do well in space. What does that say? Oh, 1973. There was, okay, so you remember, not, you know, National Lampoon, it's funny most of the time. You know, it's supposed to be sarcastic and satires and like that. But I think they blew it on this one, and they got sued, and I believe they lost. They did an ad, a Volkswagen ad in 1973. Volkswagen had a thing about their cars could even float on water. They were built so tightly, right? So one of their ads was a Volkswagen that was floating in water, right? And in National Lampoon, they used that as an advertisement. And above it, they wrote, if Kennedy drove a Volkswagen, he'd be president today, in reference to Kennedy driving off the bridge at Chappaquiddick and Mary Jo Kopechne, his assistant, whatever, dying in that. A really bad taste, don't you think? National Lampoon. They got in trouble for that, and they should have. Oh, this one is for you, Stephen. I hope you're still listening. On this day in 1971, Dwayne Allman was killed in a motorcycle accident. I know you're a fan of the Allman Brothers. Didn't you say that? Didn't I remember that? Anyway, interesting. He was driving very fast on his motorcycle, and a truck was coming, and it was turning left, and he, I guess, slowed to go left, but he skidded. And anyway, yeah, live at Fillmore East. Their big album had just come out. They hadn't been together for all that long, he and his brother doing music. In fact, Greg Allman, if you like Layla, and who doesn't like Eric Clapton doing Layla, he did the guitar with Clapton on Layla. Anyway,
Not Greg, Dwayne.
What, did I get it wrong?
Dwayne, not Greg.
Who did I say? Oh, I said Greg. No, I meant Dwayne. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, Dwayne. I'm not the big fan. Stephen, you are. You're supposed to be correcting it. The first of several deaths in the band. I got to tell you, I have this site that I look at to see what happened in music and stuff like that, just so I can, share some interesting stories with you. I cannot believe all of there's a whole lot more deaths than birthdays, let's put it that way, in the music industry. That's what it seems like. Okay, moving right along, something a little bit happier. We've got a couple more things here. Today is the day in 1964 that the Star of India and a whole bunch of other famous jewels were stolen out of a museum. But the Star of India was the largest sapphire ever found, 563.25 carats. That's like this big, beautiful star sapphire. Saw a picture of it. Anyway, some bad guys had gone into the bathroom while the museum was open, unlocked the window in the bathroom. This is like the oldest trick in the world. And then when the museum was closed, they came and in through the bathroom, stole all these jewels. The only jewel that was locked up, like with lights and like you couldn't get to it, the batteries were dead. So they just took it. Yeah, they got him back. They found him. But seriously, that was like movies are made of that kind of story. I'm sure they've made movies out of that. All right, 1945. By the way, I think and I don't even know if you can see this, but if I hold it against my nose, maybe you can. The finest little point ever, ever, ever. I love Pilot G2s. And what I found out was you can buy extra fine cartridges and just change them out, because I like writing with a very, very fine ballpoint pen, because I write really tiny, and the tinier the nib, the tinier I can write. So the ballpoint pen, the first ballpoint pen, I guess this is a ballpoint, 1945, war years. It came out, it was a big bargain, except I think it sounds crazy expensive, especially at 1945 dollar values, $12.50 each for a ballpoint pen. And Gimbals in New York, that's where it came out, sold 10,000 of those in the first day. Ballpoint pens made it big really fast. George Iser, 1904. That's a name I don't ever want to forget. This guy was living proof that anything is possible. That if you set your mind to it, you can pretty much do anything you want to do. George Geyser, when he was younger, had a leg amputated. He was a one-legged gymnast. Yes. And in 1904, in one day, he won 6 Olympic gold medals with one wooden leg and one natural leg. Seriously, go look him up. Iser, E-Y-S-E-R, George Iser. 1992, through the miracle of science. It was the first time anyone had done like lasers on the optic nerve, and a woman who had been blind her entire life saw lights for the first time. That's pretty cool. That was the first time they did it. It's come a long way since then. Joseph Pulitzer died today, and in his will, he left instructions to leave money and establish the Pulitzer Prize for journalism. That happened starting today, but a couple of years ago. Yeah, like a long time ago. 1965, the number one song was The Who, My Generation. It's a great song, don't you think? 1966, this was, I don't remember this. 1966, it was question mark and the Mysterians. And they did 96 Tears. Everybody knows that song, right? You know that song. He didn't ever use his name. It was kind of like Prince, right? Doing that sign instead of his name. So this guy was question mark and the Mysterians, but people discovered who he was anyway. His name was Rudy Martinez in Saginaw, Michigan. 96 Tears. All right, word art. It's time. We're running over. The right people lift us up. They don't bring us down. So surround yourself with the right folks. Carefully surround yourself. Ask yourself, are these 5-minute friends or are these permanent friends? Are these people who would go out of their way for you if it only took 5 minutes? Or are these people who would go out of their way for you no matter what it took? And vice versa. Yeah, don't be a user. Would you do it for them? How do you feel when you're around these people? Because if you don't feel like the best you possible, you're hanging out with the wrong people. Yeah, sometimes there's going to be little glitches in a relationship, but for the most part, are you the best you can be when you're around this person, these people? And are they at the top of their game when they're hanging with you? Could you call them at 2:00 in the morning if you needed a friend? That's what I call 2 a.m. friends. They are so valuable. Yeah. Try and surround yourself. I'd be your 2 a.m. friend, except I probably wouldn't hear the phone ring. Sorry about that, but I would do what I could to help you out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, surround yourself with people you love. I love you. I love the opportunity to get up in the morning and share with you. On the vintage page, on Steven's vintage page, I'm not old, I'm vintage. It's a great Facebook page. Cool stuff. He's posted pumpkin pictures today. And don't forget, add some to What Do I Say, What Do I Do? I want to see what you do. I want to see your carving. Yeah. But if you have some other great picture of a pumpkin, share that too. So from me and from Beily and from Indy, I got to get him to join me here again. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow, the weekend. Yes. Bye, everybody.